Now to talk more about this huge day in American history is our political expert, Brian Sobel. Brian, first, your thoughts on today and the fact that for the first time ever, a U.S. president has been impeached twice during one term.
Frank, it's unbelievable. Two impeachments, and this is another one of these components of the Trump presidency that will go down in the history books. Quite a day again.
How significant is it to you, Brian, that 10 Republicans, granted it was a small group, but still 10 Republicans voted to impeach the president today?
It is significant. You have a very partisan Congress right now, and so for the time being, at least, you do have some members of the Republican Party who are willing to cross the aisle and did today, including Liz Cheney, who I would remind viewers is the daughter of former Vice President Dick Cheney. And Dick Cheney knows something about how Washington works, and yet she was willing to cross the aisle and make a very courageous statement.
What happens now, Brian, in the Senate? Obviously, the chances are that President Trump wouldn't be tried until after Joe Biden takes office. Do you see enough Republicans joining Democrats and convicting him? And if he was convicted, essentially, what would that even mean?
At this point, I do not think there are enough votes in the Senate to convict. It requires a two-thirds vote, and I don't see the numbers there. The evidence will come forward in the trial in the Senate, but at this point, that looks highly unlikely. If he were convicted, Frank, the outcome would be that he would be barred from ever running for office again, and that would take care of the concerns of many people who believe that, in his mind at least, he will come back over the next couple of years, begin to run a campaign for the presidency again. So that would be the outcome, but don't really at this point see the numbers in the Senate being there.
President Trump spoke today. We saw it during our piece at the top of this newscast. He seemed much more humble than usual. And among other things, he called for no violence during the upcoming inauguration. I listened to several people today who applauded what he said, but they also said that, in their opinion, it was a week late. Why didn't he say the same thing last week?
Well, when we were talking about this last week, that was exactly our point. That is that he should have come out and denounced the violence, told people to go home, told them that it was wrong, incorrect behavior, and that he didn't condone it. He didn't do any of those things. And today, he could have come out very vociferously again on condemning that violence. And basically, he talked in broad terms today about we don't believe in violence and things like that. But that's, the horse is out of the barn, as the old expression goes.
Brian, you've seen a lot of things during the course of your career. Tonight in Washington, we have 20,000 National Guard members guarding the Capitol and the streets around Washington, essentially guarding us from us. How is all of this going to go down in history?
Well, it's this whole episode is a black mark. When you see the videos of our National Guards people inside the Capitol, I mean, really, this is not the scene that Americans want to look at or we want the world to see. And Washington will be an armed camp during the inauguration, and rightly so. It is always filled with tons of security, Frank, but this time there will be so much security that nobody will be able to move around the District of Columbia. And that's really not what we want to see in a democracy, but this is the hand that we've been dealt, and this is the one we have to play, and hopefully the better angels of our nature will emerge as Americans, and we can go forward and put this episode behind us.
Brian, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for talking to us tonight. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.